Last week, Jersey City Mayor Steven Fulop announced this would be his last term in office. He will not seek re-election, which isn't until 2025. And Mayor Fulop joining me now. So thank you for being here on Picks on Politics, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Dan.
So, Mr. Mayor, let's get into this. You still have another 3 years, right, in office. So I guess, give or take. So why choose now to say it's going to actually be your last term? It seems pretty early.
Well, look, I think that once you make a decision like that, it's good to be transparent and clear with Jersey City residents. They've given me an opportunity for 3 terms to be the mayor. And knowing that this was the end and I'm committed to that, I just wanted to be clear with them. There's no sense in kind of dragging something along when you know what the decision is.
Right. And we spoke last week, to be fully transparent to our audience here on Picks on Politics on the Picks 7 Morning News. And I know you cannot make any formal announcement, but you did say you're pretty much looking to stay in politics with your eyes on the governor's mansion in New Jersey. So talk a little bit about that and where you see the road ahead for you.
Yeah, look, I try to be as clear and transparent with the public as possible. And, nobody would appreciate me kind of, tiptoeing around what I think or my plans and being disingenuous. So, you asked me last week if I was looking at the governor's race. I said I was. I said the laws in New Jersey are very, very restrictive on what I can say prior to filing paperwork and how that all works. But, I'm leaning in that direction. I think it's fair to say. And a race for governor would take a lot of time and resources and planning, and you need the time to make that a reality.
Yeah, and I guess the question for you, again, I know you can't say too much, but why?
Yeah, no, I'll do my best to answer you.
Okay, so what's the timeline, right? When do you actually file paperwork?
Yeah, so you would look to file paperwork later 2023. The primary election, which is just as important as the general election, would be June 2025. So it's 2.5 years away. And you probably look at close to a year from now where it's actually a year and a half where it's fully engaged. So these things kind of move pretty quickly, and you need the time to be able to kind of put all the pieces together if you're actually going to follow through and do it.
Yeah, and so what do you think that because you've been down this road before, right, and you decided to stay on as Jersey City Mayor at the time when you were looking to run for governor before. Yeah. What do you think you can accomplish for New Jersey in a statewide role that you've maybe learned from this role that you're currently in?
Yeah, well, look, I think circumstances were very different when I looked at it before. I was in the middle of my first term in mayor. There was a good deal of momentum behind me, but, the accomplishments were very, very different from where we are today. Yeah. And I feel like I fulfill my commitment here in Jersey City to what I set out to do in many ways. The one thing that I can offer if I ran statewide that I think would be different is a unique perspective on how municipal government works and a track record of success. Jersey City is undeniably one of the best Renaissance stories in the entire country. Jersey City has a strong sentiment around the state of New Jersey, where a lot of people are born and have roots here, but it's experienced the best 10 years that it's ever had from a small business development standpoint, economic growth, transportation, education. We're firing on all cylinders, I'd like to say.
Yeah, so I'm a lifelong New Jersey person. I mean, I lived in New York for a good 10 years, but I'm back in Jersey. And the number one issue is always taxes. No matter who's on the ballot, that is a number one issue driving New Jersey voters. So let's talk about it, because Jersey City taxes actually went up in 2022. What is your vision for the full state? Because it might be a hard sell for voters who are looking, well, Jersey City went up.
Well, look, let me say it this way. I think you can look at that a bunch of different ways. I've been here 10 years, so it's hard to take 1 year and say taxes went up. Out of the 10 years that I've been here, 7 out of the 10 years, there's been 0 tax increase. And I think any reasonable person says the same way that your cost of living increases when you go to the supermarket or insurance in your household, cost of government does increase. But to have 0 tax increase for 7 out of 10 years is pretty significant. When I came into office, city was relying on tax abatements and incentives for large developers. We ended all of that. We've got credit rating upgrades. I think our fiscal management is much better than it was 10 years ago, and it put our track record here against anybody anywhere with regards to large city mayors or small mayors in the country.
Yeah, understood. And New Jersey is notorious for flip-flopping. They are Democrats 1 year, then they're Republicans another when it comes to the governor's office. Yeah. So after 2 full terms under Democratic leadership with Phil Murphy, which had a tough race in 2021 against Jack Ciattarelli, do you think New Jersey will be able to stay blue in terms of leadership?
Look, I think it's going to depend on the message and and the candidate. You know, in Jersey City here, I don't run as a Democrat. We run nonpartisan elections. So I have to make sure that I'm reaching out to Republicans and Democrats and independents, and then they vote for me. And they voted for me in record numbers, 3 specific elections now. And we're very proud of that. So, you know, it's very different, the Jersey City elections, than most in the state, where most people run either Democrat or Republicans. Our track record here is that we're winning in big numbers in a nonpartisan election. So it really is a little bit of a different story,
So let me
which I think speaks to what you just said.
Let me be clear. So if you run for governor, are you running as a non-party?
Oh, no. I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I think that, you know, when you run in Jersey City, you don't run under a Democratic or Republican banner. You run nonpartisan. There is no Democratic or Republican candidate when you run for mayor of Jersey City. So the electorate or the voters are actually electing somebody based on their ideas and their platforms.
Right.
And I suspect that's the best way that government should function, really.
Got it. I wanted to just make sure that was very clear. We're out of time, but Mr. Fulop, appreciate you as always being here on Picks and Politics.
Hey,
Good
thanks,
to see
Dan.
you. Okay, and we'll come back, by the way, when it's an actual announcement, okay?
I will.
All right.